It's bad.
Yeah,
It's hate week.
it is hate week.
It's not the Huskies. It's close enough.
Yeah, they're right. They're second.
Hmm. Yes.
Oh, are we live?
Yes, we are. Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Quacking Off Show right here on this thing called YouTube. It's just me and Spaz as always. So thank you for joining in as we dive into the USC week. Old rivalries never die.
Pac-12 fighting
Old,
allies
old Pac-12.
attack each other's again.
How you doing tonight, Spaz? Real fast.
I'm ready.
You're ready? All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's dive deep in this because we got a special guest tonight, and we don't want to waste any of his time. So, live from the heart of Big Ten country, Los Angeles, California. Everyone,
Los
please
Angeles, California.
welcome in Ryan Abraham.
I need to redo my intro after watching yours. I love that. That's cool.
He won't let me get rid of it or change it.
I mean, yeah, who wrote the song? Like, how did that get? There's like got to be a whole story.
I did it on AI.
Oh, no way. Okay.
Yeah, he did it on AI.
Hey, perfect. I've not dove into the AI stuff yet. So I don't know if just old guy, whatever, but at some point I will, and then I'll probably never go back. But that's cool that you did the intro with that.
It's hit or miss. It takes about 5 or 6 tries to find one you like, and then I still had to modify it with the speed of it.
Okay.
So, it takes a little testing. But how are you doing tonight, Ryan? Thank you for joining us too, by the way.
Oh no, my pleasure. Yeah, you got to be on with Ben and Spaz, right? We got to talk Oregon week. So I did. There's a lot of weird names up in Oregon. I think is it Brett and Sprague? I did that radio show like this morning. I've done that with a bunch. Those guys are kind of cool.
Brendan Sprague and his partner on 105.1.
Yeah, so I did that one, and yeah, it's cool. Like this is always a big show with USC and Oregon just being like tied from Pac-12 days, both trying to recruit at the highest level. Oregon's been kicking USC's butt at doing that, and then USC's kind of got good recently. Like were good before, then they kind of disappeared for a while. But there's just that connection between the programs. So this is always a big game, and it seems to be a lot of trips up there. We were up there 2 years ago, and yeah, I don't know when the next time Oregon's coming to LA, but yeah, I was just up there 2 years ago. I was in Seattle last year, so a lot of trips. Man, this is a lot more flying than I'm used to. Just I've been to Chicago twice, Indianapolis, Lincoln, Nebraska, and then this is a good one. This is easy, don't have to change time zones or anything. But there's been a lot more flying recently for this Big Ten stuff.
That is the one thing I saw from when the schedule came out. Some USC fans were like, we have to go back to Oregon? When did they come here? They haven't been here since like 2019. And I'm like, blame the Big Ten. Don't blame us. Blame the Big Ten.
Yeah, I mean, USC hasn't played Ohio State yet, which is probably lucky. They haven't played Indiana yet. So they played Michigan twice. So yeah, there's some weird stuff going on, but we'll see.
So are you and David, specifically your co-host here on YouTube, he's a UCLA Bruin.
Yes.
And I don't understand why the podcast of champions is not bigger than it is, because if people do not watch the show, the link is in the description of this video for their YouTube channel. Go watch these two guys. You two are some of the funniest guys, and your viewers, the comments, the emails they leave you are just outstanding.
Yeah, like we've done it. I think it's like 8 years. I appreciate it. Thanks. David and I, we cover the same recruiting stuff, and then we just sort of were talking at some recruiting event, and we're like, we should do like a Pac-12 podcast because like no one was really doing it, and we just I think I came up with Podcast of Champions because of the Conference of Champions, and then it just sort of got this like kind of cult following, and the users are hilarious. Like the people that write in, we have a guy that he says he pretends to be the Zodiac Killer, and he calls, like there's a lot of just bits that go on, and every time we swear, we apologize to Griffin, who's one, the son of one of our listeners, and just our soundboard was made up. Like we were like, we're too lazy to do anything, so one of our listeners, like his wife, did all the sounds for our soundboard and everything for all the different teams, just making up stuff as we go, and then we just, we'll use it. We're perfect. So I don't know. We just try to have some fun with it, and talk. It's a lot harder to talk 18 teams in the Big Ten than it was in the Pac-12, where everything just seemed to work and we knew all the dynamics and everything. So now we have to pretend to be experts in the Big Ten. And
yeah, head on a swivel.
Well, that's the funny thing, because we're all still just trying to like really grasp different teams. Like playing Minnesota, playing at Rutgers is like, that's a conference game. What?
Maryland.
We really still wrap our minds around it. I've told people I still don't have a Big Ten logo on anything Oregon. All of it's Pac-12 still.
Oh yeah, I have so many Pac-12 like bottles and like all this crap that they would give you at like media day and stuff. Like so much Pac-12 stuff. I think I got rid of some of the shirts or whatever I had. But we made fun of Jockey if you remember when Jockey became like a sponsor for the Pac-12. We just got on the show, started being like, so we're like, the guy's gonna go around in their underwear. What's going on here? And then one of the Jockey representatives emailed us and like, no, we've been representing. We have regular clothes, and they like started sending us free stuff. We're like, all right, Jockey's great. We just because we were getting free everything. I have so much Jockey stuff now from all that. But yeah, there was some cool Pac-12 stuff. But yeah, I miss it. I mean, obviously, it was so much cooler just to have the paired, teams and the rivalries and all that kind of stuff. But I guess we move on. Now we got to figure it out for all this Big Ten weird stuff.
Well, and your shows have gotten longer too because of the 18 teams, but then you still do the power rating for the former Pac-12 schools. How difficult is that when you're in different conferences to go? I mean, like you can say this team sucks, obviously Stanford or whatever, but when you get into the mix of like the Utahs, USC Oregons, that's difficult when you're in different conferences.
Yeah, we were mostly those have been jokes. We haven't done it consistently every week, but like people will ask about it or they'll write it in. We're like, oh yeah, like we have to look. Oregon State, wow, they suck. Okay, so they're down, and you feel
sorry,
bad.
Clint. Sorry, Clint.
No, sorry guys. Yeah, like it was always fun talking Beavers, and it's just the two teams that got really left behind. Cal and Stanford got sort of like, they got to go all the way to the ACC, but at least they're still in a Power 4 conference. But man, Oregon State, Washington State, it just seemed to go pretty poorly. But yeah, it's hard. It's hard, not USC not playing Cal and Stanford every year. That was just one of those trips that was fun to do. And at least you have Washington, at least you have Oregon and UCLA, but all those other schools, even like, it's fun to do the Arizona schools or Utah and Colorado, go see Ralphie run, things like that. So yeah, it's kind of RIP to all that stuff, but I still try to watch some of it and see what, how those teams are doing.
Well, that's it. You got to keep up with the Big Ten now. So it's like
Colorado sucks. So yeah, you don't have to worry there.
They're back to being Colorado.
Yeah, Shedeur just got his first NFL game. Time he might get his first start. So, followed all that. The Prime, like when USC went to Colorado in Prime's first year, was like, I think they were ranked because they had beat like TCU and I think Nebraska, and then it was like all this hype around. I mean, it was. I don't know if you could swear on this. It was such a shit show trying to get in there. Like we had like media parking passes. There was no attendance. It was a big noon or whatever. It was like the early game. No attendance. Like you couldn't, we just parked in some dirt somewhere. We're like all the media people, like the LA Times people were like, where do we go? Like, I don't know. Like nobody was there. It was
what?
They were like 1,000 media people and they just didn't have anywhere to like put everybody. And they were not ready for the Prime show and all he had like 2 different TV shows that were filming him. It was absolutely insane trying to like work for that game. So they were not ready for Prime for sure.
Yeah. Didn't they go, I believe if I remember right, wasn't that they were ranked, they came here, we destroyed them, and then the following week they played you guys, I think, wasn't it? They were still ranked?
No, I think when USC played them, they like Oregon took all the shine off. USC played them in a close game and they lost. Like I think USC was up big, and then I think if I remember correctly, it was Oregon did that later, and then sort of was like they'd already lost a couple games, and then just Oregon put any thought of them that was the clicks and everything. I think right, like
yeah.
just put them down. I think if that happened before USC played, there wouldn't be as much hype as there was for that game. So I believe it was that, but you correct me if I'm wrong. Someone can look it
Yeah,
up.
I don't remember. That's why
It was something. It was Oregon first. Then like next week or 2 weeks later, it was USC, and USC was up like 48-25 or something like that, and then Colorado made it like 48-42 or something like that.
They had the receiver Amari Patterson or something he had 198 yards against USC all in the second half.
Yeah, that's something like that.
Never heard of. It was insane. Yeah.
Well, thinking of big games though, this week we do have it, and College Game Day will be there. I don't know if it's a curse for Oregon.
Has it been? Has it not gone well? Oh, I guess
it didn't go well with Indiana.
Well, we went 1-1 this year so far. I mean, how many teams can say they've played a fourth of their games on game day?
No, that
don't happen very often.
No, and I'm glad they're getting some representation, on the West Coast, because it just seemed to be like, oh, Missouri's playing Tennessee, let's do that one. It's like, come on, there's a lot of good games.
Yeah, they were initially slated to go to Washington State James Madison.
Wow.
That's where everybody said they were gonna go there. Like they're just not gonna go to Eugene. They're not gonna do a second Big Ten home game in the same season, a third time overall. They're just not gonna do it. And ESPN said, yeah, well, that's why we play for ratings.
Yeah.
Because ratings say if we go to Eugene, if we go to James Madison, nobody's going to watch the show. Nobody's going to care.
Well, and bringing
if we go to Eugene for USC Oregon, all the tradition, all the Pac-12, now the Big Ten, all of that, it's a no-brainer. We're going to have 5 million people watching. What do you want, 5 million or 100,000?
Yeah, and I think there's some hesitation if you want to go to the same campus twice, because especially on the West Coast, you got to get there at 5 or in the morning or whatever. Like, you're going to ask them, are they going to do it again? We already did this like a month ago. Like, are we going to do this again? But I think it's a big enough, event. Like, Indiana was obviously big coming in, and then USC with like the kind of the rivalry that's developed there. So I think they'll get enough people out there. They wouldn't want it to be something like, we're going to go back. Is it like the third time you've been in Alabama? Like, are the students even going to show up anymore? I don't know. Yeah.
The one thing the one thing that pisses me off though, should have been a night game, a blackout for Oregon, and it's a 12:30 Pacific kickoff.
Yeah, the blackout. USC played at Nebraska. They did a blackout, and that was pretty cool. Like they did everything. I mean, the field was black. The band was wearing, like, everybody. Like it seemed like everyone in the damn stadium was wearing black. They did a really good job of that one. So yeah, those kind of things are fun. Like the whiteout for when Oregon went to Penn State, like that was really cool. So I love those kind of games. So yeah, we might not get the same kind of rowdiness at a 12:30 game that we would at a 7:30, but no Pac-12 after dark in this one.
Well, but then again, if the game day's there, all the student section is going to be drunk by like 3 a.m. anyways. So I guess it won't matter. I mean,
that's true. Yeah, you might have like the game day high, and then you have to like chill for like a few hours, and then you get
start again, and then start all over again. Well, let's roll into this game. And since you're in the studio, and I don't have to embarrass myself trying to mimic this Saturday, everyone, we have the number 15.
USC Trojans
taking on the number 7
Oregon Ducks.
Oh yeah, I would have embarrassed myself trying to do that. It sounded absolutely awful. I love
our soundboard. Yeah, it's good. This is my favorite one, just so you know.
He knows the score. He gets the women. Signetti kills.
I do appreciate that one, and I love the Indiana Hoosiers. I'm from Indiana.
Indiana Hoosiers.
Hey folks, I'm from Indiana.
It's the old. So I can play the old ones for you if you want. The old
USC Trojans,
and then
Oregon Ducks.
Pretty similar.
That's where I had to look back to see what the USC one is to remember, because I was thinking it was the sword.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, no, that's right. It did change.
Yeah. There's some cool ones. Yeah, I don't know. We had fun with it, but yeah, we were too lazy. We were like, oh, we got to come up with all these new ones because there's all like now we got 18 teams to do. Like, we're doing for
No.
Rutgers. Yeah, no.
Ben,
Let
No,
our users figure it out.
yes.
No, we're not doing the drug one with Ryan on
Come
the show.
on.
No. Ryan will lose his mind. He will like abandon ship immediately. Let's at least talk the game first. How about that? I'll star this for maybe the end when Ryan wants
Yeah.
to like
Okay.
throw himself out of the studio window or something like that. So 15 USC, number 7 Oregon. Oregon is a 10.5 point favorite as of earlier, at least, depending on where you
okay.
look. And it started at 8.5, 59.5 over under. 10.5 is a pretty large line because most of the USC Oregon games are pretty back and forth.
It's a
in
pretty
general.
Yeah, it's a big one. This game in my mind is sort of similar to when USC went to Notre Dame. I think that line might have started at 8.5, went to 9.5, and like the morning of the game went to 10.5, and Notre Dame ended up winning by 10. And they ran the ball all over USC, and we know Oregon's got a really good ground attack. So if you're a Duck fan, I think that's the comp you want. In this one, you want to be able to, have USC go on the road and play similar to what they did against Notre Dame, which wasn't a great effort by USC. Some turnovers and just allowing the ground game. But that's the vibe I'm sort of getting right now. We'll see if USC can like switch that around. But that's I think both offenses are really really talented. But I think Oregon's defense is significantly better than USC's defense. So that could potentially be the difference in this one for me.
That's what I was going to ask you because my mind says I watched as much USC football as I can watch with all the other Big Ten. Like you said, you're having to watch all the other games too, and your opponents coming up. Oregon's defense, I think, has the edge here. USC still has a great passing game, though, attack. But that's one of Oregon's strength is pass defense. Surprisingly, they're better at pass defense than anything. So is that a concern coming into this game with Maeva? How's Lincoln Riley going to play this? He's been much more, I don't want to say conservative, but much more run focused this year than probably the years past.
Yeah, they've been a lot more balanced this year. I think last year they threw it like 60% of the time, and now they're running it more than they're throwing. I still think they're a team that like sets up the run with the passing game, but they do run it significantly. And even losing Wayman Jordan, who was their number 1 running back, went out in the Michigan game, and Eli Sanders, the number 2 guy, they both went out. King Miller comes out of nowhere as a walk-on. I want to say former walk-on. He's a walk-on, and he's been I think at his 5 games, 3 of them over 100 yards. His first start ever was at Notre Dame. He's done some really good things for USC in the ground game. So I think they've liked being balanced. And Maeva's numbers have changed a lot. Like the end of last year, he won 3 of the 4 games he started when he was thrust in there, but he had 7 turnovers in those 4 games. He's taking care of the ball much better. And depending on, when you look, he's number 1 or number 2 in yards per attempt. Right now, he's the number 1 overall quarterback in the country as far as the adjusted QBR that ESPN puts out. He's been up there statistically in all of the categories, and it's pretty crazy to see. They've utilized the tight ends a lot more, and they use a lot of 12 personnel. So there's 2 tight ends on the field, quite a bit. But I think last year, if you saw this team, they had like 5 guys that you thought could be like the number 1 wide receiver. And now it's like you have your Batman and Robin, like your duo with Mekhi Lemon and Jacoby Lane, and they just ridiculous. I think Mekhi is like just he's one of the best receivers I've seen at USC. And Kirk Ferentz he's one of the best players he's seen and since he's been coaching. They've made some crazy catches, and they can sort of bail you out on the offensive side where Maeva knows he can just put it in a spot and those guys can go up and get it. And to his credit, he's putting it in spots that's really hard for the defenders to get it. Not easy for the receivers to get it, but they're still getting it, So the passing game has been elite. And I that's probably been one of the more surprising things to me. I thought Maeva would be fine, but they've had this elite passing attack all year. And I think that's really what's getting them going. But it helps to have a good ground game to go with it. And USC is really just focused on trying to do more of a balanced attack than what we saw the last couple of years.
I just saw today that the running back you guys lost early in the year was in full pads today.
Yeah, so Wayman Jordan, he came out at practice in pads, but then we heard from Lincoln Riley after practice a little bit earlier, and he's usually he's not going to like lie about, oh, he's going to play and he's not, but he's like, it'd be very, doubtful to play. He was questionable for this, the game against Iowa, but he didn't really warm up. So you didn't feel like he was really questionable. I think that might've been because the games that those guys got hurt, they had Brian Jackson, who they felt was going to redshirt because he was injured. They listed him as out. But then when all those guys got hurt, they brought him in after halftime, and the Big Ten fined him like $5,000. So I think they list guys that could maybe play an emergency as questionable instead. But I don't think he's going to play in this one. So it'll probably be King Miller and Brian Jackson. But he was a really, really good running back. But King Miller's been, for a walk-on guy, like he was putting Michigan defenders and spin moves and stuff, and that's a tough team, and he was making those guys look silly sometimes. So kind of crazy. So they'd be better off with Wayman Jordan having him available, but I don't think he's going to play in this one.
And that's what we're waiting on to find out too. Is Decory Moore, for instance, wide receiver? He was suited up a couple weeks ago at Iowa. He just didn't play. Then last week he didn't play again. I guess he was good to go apparently, but they didn't play him. This week he should be, and we're waiting on Evan Stewart potentially. I've heard some people say no, he's not coming back this year at all. But the word is he's still just questionable.
Okay.
So yeah, Dan's not going to release that till game time. I guarantee you. He's probably. I think everything I'm hearing is from around sources is that they believe that Eastu is going to be in for these last 3 games. He's ready to go. He's been practicing, but nobody knows for sure. So, but I think what's going to happen is when the pregame report comes out, he's going to be in there. I really think, and he might be in there just for a decoy Saturday, but you put him, Decorian, Sadiq, Benson, you put those guys in there, and who's USC going to cover?
That's what I wanted to ask Ryan, because I was like, if you had even Decorian Moore back with Sadiq and Benson and the normal guys they have, even without Evan Stewart, what is the best passing offense USC has faced this season? Notre Dame?
Yeah, it probably would be Notre Dame. It's been more heavier on the run, and I think even with like Nebraska, like they weren't the greatest passing offense, and then Raiola gets hurt in that game, and their backup didn't do much. So, I'd probably go with CJ Carr. He's up there statistically, but Notre Dame ran the ball all over USC, and I think they were sort of focused on trying to slow down Carr, but man, they'd let Jeremiah Love go absolutely bananas on that. And there's some questions in the USC secondary right now because the 2 top safeties went out of the game against Iowa, and Bishop Fitzgerald, who leads the team with 5 interceptions, and Kamari Ramsey. I'm guessing Kamari Ramsey comes back. It's Bishop Fitzgerald probably won't play. So that would, that's another blow to the secondary, especially if Oregon's getting a bunch of guys back that we didn't get to see last time out. Then yeah, so I think that could be, put a little more pressure on that secondary.
I mean, because in all fairness, too, USC is going to be the best passing offense we've seen, also by far.
Yeah, these are 2 of the best in the country, and I think I think Oregon's run game, is elite too, and so there's a lot you're going to have to try and stop. And defensively, USC's faced a lot of good defenses, but you look at some statistical categories, and Oregon's right up there. As well. I think Notre Dame did the best job of kind of slowing things down. USC got some, they took the lead in the 3rd quarter of that game, and some crazy plays by, Jacoby Lane. And then they gave up a 100-yard kickoff return for a touchdown, and that just sort of sunk them in that one. But Notre Dame did a really good job of stopping the run game for USC. And so they were really sort of a more of one-dimensional, but they still were getting it. They're still able to go. But after that kickoff return, they just couldn't really get things going there.
Yeah, that was like the straw that broke the camel's back in that game.
And I will say it's an interesting thing, and I'm sure there's a graph to a degree for this for Oregon as well. I just saw this earlier; it popped up, and there's an interesting differential between USC at home, undefeated, USC on the road, even though they've only lost 2 games. Whereas points per game goes like 45 points at home, 27 on the road, 19 points allowed to 25 points allowed, and then just statistically the amount of difference. Now, I don't know if that's going to make a difference with Oregon because there's that still familiarity compared to like a new environment.
Yeah.
I consider this a rivalry game in a sense, so you never know what's going to happen in these situations.
Yeah, but you're right though. They've been a different team when they've left the confines of the Coliseum. Now they played well in Vegas, but that's pretty close. They beat LSU and Texas A&M last year when they were in Las Vegas. So those neutral site games, they were fine, but man, the road games last year, especially outside of UCLA, which you have to take a bus to, I don't count that. They were bad. They got to win at Purdue. Didn't play great, and Purdue's not very good, but they did get a road win there, and then the road win at Nebraska. I mean, I think that showed some toughness, and they showed some toughness against Michigan and Iowa at home. Now we'll see what they can do. I mean, this is going to be the most talented team, along with Notre Dame that USC's facing, and so they've been really good in the second half defensively the last 3 weeks. They've a field goal to Nebraska, and to Northwestern, and then no points to Iowa in the second half. You're probably not gonna be able to do that against Oregon. So I think it's more of if you don't get a fast start against Oregon on the road, it's going to be tough because they've come from behind in some of these other games. I don't know if it's going to be, you're not going to be able to do that if you fall behind in Eugene, but they have made some good adjustments in the second half and played a lot better defense there. But you're right, the road struggles have been real for USC. They got better this year, but still they don't look like the same team that we've seen in the Coliseum most of the time.
And I think if I could be completely wrong on this too, the only team to have a pick six on Mendoza, for instance, was Oregon.
So that's it. Yeah.
So
no, that's a big one. Yeah, that's
so as long as we don't allow you to pick us apart, kind of like Indiana did, where they just kept running 10-yard curl routes and getting 8-9 yards every completion.
Yeah, Indiana controlled the clock really well in that game, and I don't think USC. I mean, USC could, but they're not. I think they like big plays more too. I think that's more of their speed, trying to But they do run the ball, and they can grind out some drives. But Indiana looked like they were doing that purposely. I don't know if USC would be doing the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, Signetti kills once again. So
he does.
He Google him. He wins every.
I was surprised because I remember that game. I took Oregon and laying the points, and I just was like very surprised that was But I'm really impressed. I thought Indiana would take sort of a mini step back this year, like still be good, and they look even freaking better, man. So that's just kudos to him. Like Signetti's just an excellent coach, and
yeah. You were saying beforehand you thought Mendoza might not be great, and I think that's a product of the Cal and Wilcox offense. Now he goes to Indiana, and bam! I mean, guy's like unstoppable almost.
Yeah, I think they played. Who did they play? Old Dominion or something early. Who I think is probably decent, but they didn't look that good. I'm like, yeah, Indiana's not like that. Last year they would have beat that team 70-0, But I think they were just sort of getting things rolling. And like now when things click, like they didn't play well against Iowa or whatever, like that was a 15-10 game. And we've seen some Indiana's like playing mortal, they look like they're mortals. That Penn State game, Penn State's a really talented team, but man, like when they get it, when things start clicking, it's just like, wow, just got to get out of the way. But I think Oregon could do the same thing. We've seen, Oregon sort of play with its food in certain games. And then other games just like, okay, Dan Lanning just goes full on killer mode and goes psycho on you. So it's, I'm curious to see how this one, turns out. But I think there's some similarities with Oregon and Indiana, the way they sort of like can put teams away.
Yeah.
So is there any concern in the fan base real quickly with USC because this is like pretty much do or die USC playoff hopes?
Yeah, no, it's I think this was this was probably more of an upside game. I think if you look back when USC played Michigan, that was like a must win. You had just lost on the road to Illinois. Like you needed to bounce back. You can't be like, oh, they can't survive in the Big Ten. They're soft, blah, 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 whatever. Because Illinois had just got smoked by Indiana, and then they come back and beat USC. And they weren't feeling good about that. They needed the win against Michigan more than anything. And they got it. They played well. And that was, their best game of the year, probably. This one's more, I feel like it's upside because playoffs weren't really like, okay, this is going to be a 6-6 team that won their bowl game. You're going to the playoff the next year. And they've it's been a lot of chalk where you felt like on the road at Illinois, a ranked team, you'd probably lose that. On the road at a ranked team in Notre Dame, you'll probably lose that. Team that went to the national championship last year. And then the Oregon game would be the same way. Like those, if you were sort of an optimistic or just chalk, you'd say USC's 9-3, their 3 losses are their ranked road. And so they've they've held serve. So if you lose the Oregon game, I think a lot of people expected that. I think if you lose it and get smoked, that would be bad. But if it's a close game and Oregon kicks a field goal at the end or something and wins, like, yeah, that would suck for the fans. But I feel like they'd like, okay, that was sort of expected outcome. And then going 9-3 after 6-6, you'd feel like, all right, that's progress. You got the number 1 recruiting class coming in. You could build on it. I think they just didn't want to have a 7-5 year, and then the recruiting class starts to fall apart. So to me, I think this is more. I mean, they want to. Obviously, USC fans want to beat Oregon, but it feels more of like there's an upside to this, and if you lose, it's sort of like expected. Outside of like getting your doors blown off, that would not be. And Dan Lanning would freaking love to do that, right? So
Yeah, I can agree with that. I mean, I would think the same thing. Same with Oregon. If we took down USC by a field goal or a touchdown, we'd be okay with that because I think this is going to be a close game. I don't think this is going to be a blowout. If it is, I will be kind of surprised.
Yeah, but for the Ducks too, I mean, this is a game you could lose and still make the playoffs, still go 10-2. So there's scenarios. I'm curious, like from the Big Ten side, is it looking like 3 Big Ten teams, or how this going to work unless Michigan upsets Ohio State or USC upsets Oregon? It's getting 4 teams in there if they want. Yeah, I don't know, but I feel like Oregon's in a good spot just because like you can go 10-2, even if you lose this one, something weird happens, and but I think something weird would have to happen for USC to win this one.
What is it with the 12:30 bias this year?
USC's been so many, like USC's been on CBS. I think this is a 3rd or 4th time. They were on NBC a couple weeks in a row. So weird, like CBS, NBC. It's like, wow, this is a whole different story. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like we're ending the year with 3 of our last 4 games on CBS. They already put out next week's schedule, and we're 12:30 again. It's like,
was it?
Why are these rivalry games getting stuck in SEC timestamps?
I thought that the Oregon, Washington, and USC, UCLA, they're still. It's either 12:30 or 4:30. Maybe I got that wrong, but I feel like that's.
I saw something last night that got put out from the Big Ten Network. I thought that said it showed all the Big Ten games for next week are already.
Yeah, I think the Oregon Washington was like an or with, so it depends on who wins the game. They'll either get the 12:30 spot or the 4:30 spot with NBC, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's what came out.
Oh, okay, good. That's good because all I saw was the 12:30.
But if Oregon wins, they'll be in the 12:30, I believe. Yeah, I think if Oregon wins, they're in the 12:30 again. So.
I mean, for me, I'm in Central Time, so at least I'm not staying up till 1 a.m. doing post games. So this is great, but at the same time, I miss the night games too. I miss the Pac-12 after dark ritual.
Yeah,
just insanity.
It is kind of weird because I have to follow the Big Ten games for the podcast, and when it's like, I covered USC Iowa, which was a 12:30 game last week, and you get home, you can watch the next round of games, and then there's no like, oh, where's the 7:30 game? Like, nope, there's not really. We don't have Big Ten games like that late a lot.
Right. We had one of those this year, I think, didn't we, Ben?
Mm-hmm.
The after dark.
That was Minnesota.
No, I thought we had one earlier in the year that was later than that.
Mm,
Or was that last year, the end of last year?
Minnesota was Friday night game.
yeah,
so
that's why it was
Right.
Minnesota was a late game. Rutgers wasn't that late.
I went to the Michigan State game last year that was Friday night.
It might have been last year. This year has been pretty reasonable time wise, but yeah, but I missed the Pac-12 after dark. You gotta have these,
Yeah.
crazy games.
Yeah.
Yeah, 12:30 can be a little more challenging with the tailgating, but
Yeah.
you
Makes
know.
for a rough morning start.
You can have breakfast burritos and mimosas or whatever you want, Bloody Marys, you know.
Yeah.
Well, then,
last week was perfect because I got down at 12, 1 o'clock, and 2 o'clock we're eating some burgers and doing shots, so out in the parking lot.
Yeah.
well, again, that'll be this weekend with game day. They'll be drunk. They'll have to sober up and start again a couple hours before game time.
Nice.
Well, then Ryan, as we said, it's a 10.5-point favorite for Oregon at home against USC. Do you or have you any score predictions?
I haven't thought too much yet. If it's 9.5, I'm probably it might be. I might look at it as like a 10-point, like I don't know, 30-20 or something, Oregon kind of thing. But if it goes to 10.5, I'll probably take the points. Depend when we pick I think we're doing our show on Thursday, so we'll just pick whatever the line is that day. But I'm just, my mind's going to the Notre Dame game where that was close. USC had a third quarter lead, but just at the end of the game, the Fighting Irish kind of, put some distance there. But so I feel it's probably like a 10-point kind of thing. I wouldn't be shocked if USC went up there and won and played well and they got the offense rolling and stuff. But I just feel like they've played some tight ones and some good comebacks and stuff. I think it's gonna be a lot more difficult going up here for this one. So I think it's 10. I think like a 30-20, something like that.
Okay, I'll take that. I know you guys do the lines. We generally just do scores, but I'll give you something around 30-20. We'll give you a little grace there, but you're within the 10.5. You're within the 10.5.
Yeah, cool.
Spaz.
Yeah.
What do you have for this?
I think I want to wait till Thursday to see if Dan brings out anything since we're doing the other one.
What a week. You're so weak. Absolutely weak. I was about to lay into you there for a second, but I've been watching my mouth tonight.
Don't do it on my account.
Let's wait.
No, we don't give a shit around here. You can say fuck whatever you want. It doesn't matter on this show.
I'm gonna save mine for Tim because I'm gonna have a friendly banter with Tim on Thursday.
Gosh, we're doing this. We're gonna have a rant show with Tim Prangley on Thursday. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Ryan's probably like, I don't know who that is. I don't care.
No, I remember Tim.
Yeah, I remember Tim.
That was the reaction. I remember him. Well, Ryan, do you have any final thoughts on this game here? Because I know it's over 30 minutes. It's almost 40 minutes now, but this has been fun. But we don't want to keep you any longer than you're available because you still got to get home. But
yeah,
do you have any final thoughts with this game and how it could go?
Yeah, I like to. I mean, watching USC's passing offense has been really special this year. So just curious to see how well they can do. In this one because Oregon's. I think it. But my gut is it keeps telling me it's going to go similar to what USC Notre Dame did. So, but I'm, weird. I've been terrible at picking USC this season. I think I'm 3-7 or something. It's bad. I've not been. Those against the spread, but I've not been good picking USC. So we'll see. What ends up happening in this one. But just if you haven't watched the USC passing game, it's pretty good. So kind of check that out, and should be a lot of fun up there.
I think so too. I mean, it's always fun with USC. It's just the nature. It's just the old Pac-12 type of rivalry, especially I saw it.
Yeah.
It's this old Pac-12 rivalry type of thing, the kind of the hatred, USC hating Oregon up and coming, and just it's just good. It's the old versus the new, so to say, traditional versus the non-traditional, quote unquote. Oh my God, Chad, are you kidding me right now? All right, well then, Ryan, we appreciate you being here and taking your time to come talk USC football with us. I think it'll be fun. But on your way out, I will play a little drug train because Clint, our resident Beaver fan, keeps asking for it.
Okay.
And he will lose his mind if I don't. And we got to you have to give the Beavers something to be happy about, right?
Yeah.
They need something to cheer for.
All right, Clint, in favor of you. But Ryan, again, I really appreciate you being here. So everyone, please check out Ryan. All the links are in the description of this video. Check out the Podcast of Champions. Great show.
And Ryan, if you run across somebody that's got an extra ticket, send them my email.
All right. I'll take a look at that. We're doing a little gathering at the 10 Barrel Brewery Friday night in Portland. So we did there 2 years ago. It was a lot of fun. And we had a bunch of people show up, like USC fans are visiting the game. But anyone, Oregon fans, come out too. And
at 10, which 10 Barrel?
It's in the Portland one.
The one on is it on Interstate?
Isn't that the downtown? Isn't that the one you said downtown or something?
Or is it downtown?
I think it's down. It's the only one that's listed like the Portland address. It's not.
I saw your tweet about that. I think you said downtown.
Okay. Yeah.
I think
I'll have to check that out because, Friday night I don't think I'm doing anything. That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, stop by. It's a cool place. I bought a hat there a couple of years ago.
Maybe I can get Danny to come out with all his USC gear.
Nice. Yeah.
He's from the 105 The One Brew.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. He's the afternoon guy. You talked to Brandon this morning, who is Danny's co-host on our Blazers podcast.
Okay, cool. Okay. Sweet.
Brandon does the morning show, and then Danny does the midday show on 105.1. And they started a Blazer podcast 5-6 years ago called Jack Ramsey's.
Okay.
And it's still going. Now Danny pretty much does it by himself. Brandon comes in like once a month or whatnot.
Okay, cool.
All right. And yeah, Tony, Friday night down there in, I believe again, downtown Portland. He says Northwest Portland. Yeah.
Northwest.
So Friday night there, Tony, if you want to go in and see Ryan and hang out for the.
Yeah. We'll be there like 7:00 or so.
That'd be fun. Yeah. Get over there, Tony, and take some Duck fans with you. And
Tony, hit me up and maybe we can figure out how to carpool and go down to that Friday night.
Yeah.
All right. Well, everyone.
It's Dirt and Sprague. Sorry, the show I did was Dirt and Sprague. That's
Dirt and Sprague, yeah.
105.1 The Fan. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I knew it was something weird like that, but yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I couldn't. I could never forget because I've known Brandon for years.
Oh, okay.
So, all right. Well, everyone, again, Ryan, thank you for coming in. We will play you out with a little the much requested clip. I don't know why again, but please, everyone, check out all the links. Follow the Podcast of Champions on YouTube. Follow Ryan on Twitter at Inside Troy, isn't it right?
Yes.
It's linked there in the description. Go over there, follow him there. And then if you guys can make it Friday night to downtown Portland, go hang out there and talk the game with some Trojans. And on that, Ryan, again, really appreciate your time tonight. It's been a lot of fun, and hopefully we can get you on at some point. Maybe we'll meet in the playoffs again.
Sounds good. Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
And roll that outro clip for Ryan so he can go jump out a window.
Drugga. Drugs. Look out, drug train coming through. Who wants some drugs?
Oh, Ryan hasn't thrown himself out a window yet.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, people love that clip. YouTube doesn't mind it either. I'm surprised.
Oh, yeah.
Of all the things I play.
Sweet. Well, thanks, guys. Take care.
All right. Thanks,
Have fun, Ryan. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Awesome. Everyone, Ryan Abraham, follow him in all the links again in the description. Ryan's a good chat. It's fun. James in the chat. No, 3 years ago, Bo Nix beat him in Oregon. That was at Autzen. In 2020, that was Anthony Brown. the
Yeah.
Pac-12 championship. That was Anthony Brown and Tyler Shuck. Yeah, that was at the Coliseum, but that was 2020, so there was no fans. God damn, that was 5 years ago. God, I need to watch that game again. Please go back and watch. Yeah, see, the last regular season game was 2019 when Herbert and them ran all over the Trojan in the Coliseum in 2019. Trojan fight's correct here. What is go back and watch those 2020 games. Go back and watch one of those with the fake crowd noise. So weird.
Yeah.
So weird. So Spaz, this is gonna be a fun week, and we've got Thursday night. We have Tim Prangley, right?
Yeah.
Allegedly. Supposedly.
Ah.
No, they beat him in 2016.
Obama was still in office then.
Oh yeah. No.
Trump took over in 17 from the 16 election.
Oh yeah. Actually, that's correct. Yeah. Okay, never mind. My dates were a little mixed up there. I was like, I know there's like a 6 month area there, period, 5-6 month period. So my dates were wrong. Yeah, technically. Yeah.
Yes, technically.
Now, this will be a good game, though. This will be a good game. USC is not going to go up there and just lay down. So I think it just depends if Oregon's full strength finally.
Tony, you follow me on Twitter or any of the social media platforms?
Let me see here. I can drop your Twitter in here too.
If you're still here, Tony.
Oh, he probably is. I think he said he's driving a lot when he does that.
Yeah.
I will drop your link in here. I have to pull up a different tab. Here is Spaz's Twitter right there for everyone if they want to go follow it, as well as you can follow us in the description at the Quacking Off CFB on Twitter or X, whichever you want to call it.
Oh, yeah. Either way, you can DM me on either one of those, Tony, and we can try to put something together to go hook up Friday.
Or I'll just put Spaz's phone number in here in the live chat.
Yeah, why not?
Where's your stalker?
Probably sleeping now because I believe they were going to Atlanta, flying back to Atlanta this morning.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. Lazy stalker. All right. Well, then, Spaz, anything that you want to see specific from the Ducks quick in this game when it starts, immediately start to finish? Anything specific?
I want to see Eastu come back, and I want to see Oregon just go over the top the entire game with Eastu, Decorian, Sadiq, Benson. Throw J-Mac in there a little bit. Boy, I tell you, it could turn deadly. If Eastu does come back and Wilstein has any brain left at all up there, he, especially with USC secondary, over the top all game. Just send everybody, 20-yard crossing routes and 40 verts and all that stuff.
I think that's possible. I think you make a good point. I hear it is. He says, and James says, Decorian's not playing. Decorian's been suited up 2 weeks in a row. He just hasn't played. He's been suited up. He was suited up at
Decorian's playing Saturday.
He was suited up at Iowa. He just didn't play. And last week he didn't play. It's more of a precautionary. The injury is not near what we thought it was. Because at first we thought it was like a torn ACL, and we were like, oh shit. I'm pretty sure he will play. At least he'll be ready to go. Maybe he won't play the whole game or a ton of snaps. Maybe they'll kind of work him back in and just make sure don't overuse him. Save him for the postseason. But We'll see. But I'm pretty sure he'll play this week. Yeah, Trojan fight. You're not wrong about that. We thought it was a serious thing too, but he's been suited up on the sideline for the last 2 games, which is kind of bizarre because if it's serious, he wouldn't be suited up. And Spencer said he isn't playing. Well, it's Tuesday. Let's see what happens in the next 3 days. I'll take Spencer's word on that. If Spencer said that, I will take his word on that. But we'll see in the next 3 days.
We haven't seen any? I mean, I like Spencer and all, but we haven't seen anything. Even James Crepea said, who's in Eugene daily at the press conferences, and said Dan hasn't said anything. All he's said is if they're good, they'll go.
Yeah, that's why I said there's 3 days still. It's only Tuesday night. We'll see. I mean, if he doesn't play this week, then I think that maybe this injury is more serious than we were led to believe, but not as bad as it was. But obviously, they're holding him out for precautionary reasons. So again, maybe we get Stewart back. If we don't get Stewart back this week, I don't know if there's a point in him coming back.
Yeah.
See, James make a good point. Is that why the line moved? It started at 8.5, then 9.5, now 10.5. It could be that there's some other information that players are coming back and that looking good for Oregon. It's looking good.
Yeah.
But as you were saying there, Spaz, I mean, I think the same thing because Oregon, I think they are better than USC's D line. USC D line is not as dynamic, so I think the O line will hold up fine. Because Oregon D-line wise is better than USC overall. Not that USC has a bad D-line or anything, but again, also if you can be running the ball, say 5 yards a carry, you don't even need to throw it deep, at the same time. Just run it. You've got enough running backs. You can rotate 4 deep. You might have Lamar back this week, maybe even.
Yeah. Now you're 5 deep.
Yeah. I was like, you don't even need to throw the ball. It's gonna be a fun game. I always love USC games. They make me nervous though, because you just never know what's gonna happen. This is that type of weird shit.
Yeah.
This is a good question. This is a reasonable question too. Is Mateo taking a step back 10 sacks last year for this season?
No, they're just scheming him better. They're double teams. He's getting a lot of double teams this year.
It's a fair question though, because for the first half of the season,
he had a much better game last week. He's starting to get gear up again.
Yeah, the first half of the season has been kind of underwhelming. I think it is how teams schemed up against him, but then Tuioti took over, and now teams are going, oh crap! Now we got to watch out on both sides. So now you're starting to see Mateo kind of break free a little bit more than he was before. But it's a fair question. I've noted that before too, that he's not having quite the same statistical impact anyways. Let's put it that way. Statistical. It's kind of like a defensive lineman. You can have a nose tackle. Just because you don't get a stat doesn't mean you don't affect the play. Kind of thing. So but he's finding his way. Yeah, that's possible, James, too. Run game. He's admitted that too. Mateo has said he needed to work on the run game himself, even so. And it probably did come from some scouts. He'll be fine. I'm not too worried about it. Oregon does a good job overall, run defense and pass defense especially, but this will be a challenge. So, but I'm looking forward to it. So, Spaz, we will see people on Thursday night, right?
Yeah. Thursday night, same time.
Thursday night.
Tim Prangley from your USC Trojans. Also, shit. I got to find it again.
I know. I cannot remember the LAC.
It's LA.
I got it right here. It's right here. It's the LAFB network.
LAFB network.
Yeah, I always screw it up myself. But yeah, Tim Prangley will be on, old Trojan co-host kind of thing with us before, so it'll be fun watching Spaz and him go at each other's throats.
Yeah, if you weren't into the After Dark show before a few years ago, you'll know who Tim is. Anybody familiar with Voice of College Football? Tim was a big part of that program for a few years, and yeah, he's fun to banter with. We have a good time. We just can't let what is his name, Michigan boy or whatever in
Moose.
Moose. Yeah,
Moose.
can't let him and Moose on the panel together.
God, no.
They will kill each other.
I would just walk away and just let them go at it. All right, everyone. Then what we'll do is, again, please give thanks to Ryan Abraham for coming on. Go check out Podcast of Champions. All the links for him are in the description. We will set up the show tomorrow for Thursday night right here, where we'll talk with Tim from USC about the game also and do a different style preview. These are two different personalities, so I thought it was better to split them. So Thursday night will be a very interesting and whole different show. And then obviously check us out Saturday for the post game following the USC game. That should be around 4 p.m. Pacific, probably something around there.
Yeah,
about right.
4:30.
We'll get that all set up for you guys. If you haven't already, please do consider hitting that like button. Consider subscribing. Share this out, please. Put this on your Twitter for us. It helps. It does just help spread the word about us getting out as we get this all back and rolling. And on that, thank you everyone for being here. Appreciate it. Again, Ryan Abraham, really appreciate him taking the time to come on. And Spaz, there's never a better time in the world. 1 week away. 1 week. Just one.
One more week.
Yes. 2 rivalries in a row. But as always, everyone, thank you. And fuck Washington.
Yeah. Oh, we should have made one for the Huskies. Oh, well.
Fuck them.